Welcome to my Motivational Moments with Coach John channel. As a seasoned leadership coach with a passion for developing a client's potential, I enhance my thinking by taking on the reflective habit of a monk or friar to give my inner thoughts time and attention through the practice of silent contemplation. I made a few notes as I reflected on the topic of sculpting the clay of your future self. In terms of our future self, wouldn't it be wonderful if we all strived for the attributes of my friend here, the Buddha, a symbol of one who has achieved wisdom and a state of intellectual and ethical perfection, and on top is happy, if not a bit overweight. As we journey through life, we straddle many different truths that end up defining who we are and who we end up to be. In my early 20s, I had quit my job, bought a motorcycle, and headed for South America. My thousands of miles covered a lot of ground, both physically and mentally. After many months of hard traveling, I wanted to head north up the coast of California. The Arizona desert, though, had a surprise for me. My engine overheated and exploded. I was left to hitchhike with very little money to survive on. Anyway, eventually I ended up in Vancouver, British Columbia, where my only choice one evening was to sleep on a park bench whose rights had been claimed by another individual. Needless to say, he became very annoyed at my intrusion. At that time, my life lacked a firm direction and unseen opportunity. I was driven to experiment and roll with the tide. But there is a deeper truth that rests inside the reality of each moment. These monumental truths can have a powerful imprint on how we feel about ourselves and where we end up in life. Inside each of us is an unseen mapping system of accumulating personal wisdom. It shapes a path to our destiny, defining the possibilities of our life's circumstances. But circumstances can manipulate an assumption that's either positive or negative. It struck me that if I had accepted the reality of the truth of that moment in shaping the clay of my life, my future could have taken a different turn. I know now that truth takes time to mature. My situation was only a small seed planted in the history of my internal mapping system that would enrich who I would grow into. Consider this. Every morning we wake up to a couple of interpretive environments to which we react. One is the surviving reality of what happens to us. It is a daily spin behind how we choose to use our valuable time and energy to survive our existing life. A great majority of the 60,000 or so thoughts that stream through our head each day I view as junk data. Sculpting our future self means managing what we feed our minds and what we filter out. The other reality we have before us is the what-if reality. This reality happens for us. It surrounds the air we breathe and sits just beyond our touch, but not beyond our reach. The what-if reality is inhabited by external forces, which present a smorgasbord of thought-provoking attractions, teasing us with opportunities, risks, hope, growth, challenges, and choices. Inside each of us are big dreams for our what-if future. But in a lot of cases, these dreams drift away, leaving us unfulfilled. The universe doesn't care. It can take it or leave it. It waits for us to react to it. The what-if clay of possibilities has no emotions or shape to it until we put our hands to it. The forgiving part, though, is that if we neglect to experiment with the possibilities of our current life, there's always a parade of new opportunities passing before us. They're continually being recreated and renewed by a world in constant flux. but with our distracted life, we just don't see them. The point is, there's always hope on the horizon. We need to integrate what happens to us with the what-if possibilities that are hovering around us. When you translate your experiences into feelings, the hands of your spirit will mold and polish the clay of your uniqueness. Your knowledge becomes the wind and your behavior becomes the sail. Behavior defines your character and becomes your personal truth. The awareness and knowledge that streams through your creative mind to imagine who you want to be does not change behavior. You have to act differently if you want your world to come alive. The difficulty is acting on that knowledge will be more difficult than the realization of it, because development is inseparable from motion. Your personal mantra should be, give me success or teach me something. In the final analysis, sculpting the clay of your future self takes two forms. First as an inquisitive thought sparked by your imagination, and next as an actionable behavior. Above all, keep positive. Remind yourself that you are a work in progress, and your life is all about the joy of doing. In wrapping up, there are 3 points I'd like to make. Number 1, you have the ability to think, so you have the ability to think big. Plant a flag in the distance of your mind's eye describing who you want to end up to be. You'll never get out of this world alive, so anticipate your antiquity and begin shaping the clay of your future self today. Number 2, intellectualize every day. Use silent time to hear yourself think. To measure your thoughts and progress along the path to your future, consider adjustments or actions that need to be taken. Number 3, behave your way into who you want to be as if you've already arrived, and keep your promises. Accumulate the knowledges and behaviors associated with that authentic person you want to develop. It's not just life experiences that matter, it's where you're headed that gives your life meaning. Don't try and qualify to be anybody but yourself. Rise above your surviving reality. Rent some quiet time in the world of what-if scenarios. Make an intellectual and ethical difference in your own life. Become your own Buddha. Your future is worth the living. Until next time, be good to yourself.